Okay, so it occurred to me that I hadn't actually told you guys the theory behind the racing line, or indeed what the racing line actually is. So I'm going to do that now in this video. So if we start with just basic sort of right hand corner sort of thing, and we imagine this is leading on to a straight. The key is to get as much speed onto the straight. If you make a mistake in this corner, it will cost you, say, half a tenth in the corner. By the time you get to the end of the straight, it's going to have cost you close to half a second. So it's important you get a really good run out of corners that lead onto straights. So when you're thinking about your racing line, you're always working towards the next straight and getting as much speed onto that straight as possible. So to figure out what your racing line should actually be, you need to start from the straight. And you need to say, when I've just come out of the corner, where do I want to be? And so on this corner, it's going to be about here, if you're going that way. So you want to be about there. And then from here we can work backwards. So you say, right, where do I need to start accelerating? And where do I need to hit the apex to get me there? So be about here, and then you move back again and you say, right, so where do I need to have turned to get me there? About here perhaps. And then you move back again and say, extend it a little bit, and say, where do I need to have start braking to make that turning point? So you say about here, and then you can connect the dots. You go right. I'm not actually drawn that very well, but you get the idea. Okay, so another example, if we go for a hairpin this time. And we're going this way. Again, you want to get as much speed on the exit as possible. So exit about there. To get there, say apex about there. To turn, to get there, you need to start turning about here, very late in the corner. And to brake, you'll need to slow down enough, you need to start braking there, say. And again, join up the dots. So that's how you need to go about figuring out where you should be on the track. So it's a good idea to have a look at a map of Daytona and figure that out perhaps before the next session. For more complex sequences though, let's say you've got two corners, it's still the same sort of thing. So let's say you got something like that. And you got your straight off here. Again, just going that way. For this, again, you need to figure out where you want to be on the straight once you've exited the corner. So you're going to exit about there. So you go back to your next apex. You need to apex about there to get onto there. Now, if this was if this part of the corner didn't exist, then what you'd be saying is, I want to turn in, say, about here, and braking about here. Clearly, however, you can't do that because you've got your corners. So what you now start doing is you start figuring out this corner. I say, right, so for this corner I want to exit about there, okay? Turn in, to make that I want to be there, and entry about here, braking about here, okay? So now you know you've got this point up here and this point down here, and in an ideal world, for the entry to this corner you'd be here, and in an ideal world for the exit of this corner you'd be here. Obviously you can't do both, so you need to take about a halfway point between the two, about there. And now you can proceed to join up the dots as you've done before. And so on. Okay, so that's essentially how you go about building up the racing line. And as I said, it would definitely be a good idea to have a look at that before the next session,